you're not happy. You're lying. I see it all the time from my coworkers, colleagues, and just people lying to himself. What he says and what he actually thinking is absolutely different guys. When you're trying to help people in the same situation, they ego protecting.
If you're not fully happy, and again, from a deep sense of pride and satisfaction with your situation, then own it. You can't begin to fix what you don't admit is a bit off. On today's podcast, I had Vlad. He shared a story about going from 20K a month to 100K a month and how he was for about 5 years making between 10 to 30K a month. And he kept losing everything and then starting from zero all over again, but never earning more than 30K, never crossing that threshold. He said some months he'd make zero for 6 months, then all of a sudden hit 20K and then start all over again. And how now it's a completely different game. So while the numbers speak for themselves, he said that the biggest thing is that he finally feels like he's not a loser, and a feeling that's been haunting him for years. He's been able to overcome it, and he's a man that he's proud of. And he said that that's the biggest thing he's achieved, not the money, but becoming the man he always wanted to be. And aside from that, he shared some quick wins with us about how he's been able to go to the gym consistently, how he goes to bed at different times, why he significantly improved his health and diet. And beyond that, there was just a lot of golden nuggets here. Things about how to become a man you're proud of, how to systematically approach understanding why you should do something versus why you shouldn't, and not in a fluffy, aspirational way. And also just a very concrete framework that worked for him about how to understand what you want and how to actually go after it. So I want to say thank you to Vlad for coming on the podcast today. English is his second language, but he was great enough to come on. There's a little bit of nuances with the volume and the audio about this, but I guarantee you guys stick around. There's some gold in this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Welcome to today's podcast, everyone. Vlad is an Arena alumni, and he shared a very interesting post in our alumni-only section. And he said that I've gone from 20K to a record 90K monthly revenue. For about 5 years, I was making 10K to 30K a month. I kept losing everything and starting from zero over and over again, never earning more than 30K. Some months, I'd make zero for 6 months, then hit 20K only to start over. Now it's a very different game. The numbers speak for themselves, and I'm winning like never before. Finally, I had this feeling of knowing I'm not a loser anymore, a feeling that haunted me for years. Becoming the man I always wanted to be is the biggest thing I've achieved, not the money. And more wins are happening because now I understand why I need them and how to beat my inner doubts. I've been going to the gym for 5 months, 3 times a week, and haven't skipped a workout. I go to bed consistently at 8 p.m. and wake up around 5 a.m. My sleep is awesome. I've significantly improved my overall health and diet, and I'm moving from my hometown in a few months after living here for 29 years. It's a shock for me, but I know why I need it, and I'm preparing everything to do it. So these are really, really big things, Vlad, and I wanted to ask you to come on the pod, just share a little bit like what happened, because this has also been a bit of a delayed fuse. Like you were in the arena, I want to say about 5 months ago, something along those lines.
Yes, probably like 5 or 6 months ago. But
yeah, and like I remember at the end of the arena, I could tell that you were charging, you were full steam ahead, you were very excited, things were going well, but the results took a little bit of time. So first off, thank you for coming on the pod, man, and sharing your story.
the thanks to further innovation, this was really stressful for me. This was my first podcast, and to be honest, I've never speak live in English for sure because my main language is Russian. So
yeah,
it's a bit frustrating.
I appreciate it, man. But again, like I think the lessons here are going to be really interesting. So first off, I wanted to ask you just from your perspective, what do you think caused that big of a shift? If you had to nail it down to like one big fulcrum, what would that be?
There's a few steps, to be honest. I was thinking about this a lot, but I can't say about only this one. This is the part of the complex which you created for me in Arena, and now I understand how this works. And for sure, it will be a bit hard to understand for people, but you need to cover a few main things. The first one is to probably understand why you're doing this or not. And it's not, like why all psychologists on Instagram you see like defined your why or the things like that. It's not about this at all. For me, it was like more psychological steps which you need to identify to see what you should the target on. This is probably the most important thing for me. Like you identify these things, you see what you need to do and exactly what fear you need to cross. Like this is important because identifying your fear is also really hard. we were talking about this in Arena a lot, and you give lots of tools of it. Like you see the fear, you probably know it, but most of the time you don't even understand exactly what this fear about and why this holding you back. Like literally.
Yeah.
You know this. We all know our fears, right? We probably sit down and see the business and not growing. We know what we should do, but we probably not doing this, or we don't think this is really important. But this is it. And identifying your fear is the first and the most important step was for me. For this half of the year, I cursed it. You want to ask?
It's a question about that. Yeah, just what you're saying first is to understand why you're doing it. And can you just explain? You said not like the Instagram kind of, fluffy motivational why or whatever it may be, but so what do you mean by that? Is understanding what are the important key actions that you need to do and first clarifying those, or?
Yeah, sure. Just this is why I came to fears, because first of all, you need to understand what you're going to explain to your brain and what you're going to work. So identifying your fear is a key. Like I literally need to solve this one problem and cross it to grow. Like changing the difficulty in your game. Like when you play video games, you can always change the difficulty and it's going to be hard. That's it. This is really hard to understand, but you need to get it. Like your fear is the key problem which holding you back from growing your business. That's the key. Okay, so what should I do right after it? Like I don't know what to do. For example, it was a few weeks ago. I know I need a high-level programmers who can solve my problems inside my software, inside my projects, and to start growing in this way much more. Because all half of the year I was doing this by myself. And this is a little bit costly for me. I never hired somebody more than 3K a month. Like this is really huge for me. Even I'm making good money. This is, by the way, we crossed 100K this month. This is even more.
Very nice.
Yeah. That's good. But internally, I'm not really ready to start hiring this high level of people because I know I need it, but I'm fighting this like literally. This is more about, for me, was internal fight and let somebody be more smarter than me, like in some ways. This was hard for sure, but and yeah, I got this fear. Like I understand this. Now I figure it out.
Vlad, can I pause you here?
Yeah, sure.
So because I think it's a very common thing. A lot of people struggle to hire the high level employee. They kind of stay with this, mediocre or whatever it may be. And there's a lot of reasons. And first off, I want to say it's rare and it's powerful. They're able to just own it and be like, I was afraid of somebody being smarter than me in the room, so to speak. Now, what was interesting to me is that I didn't expect you to say that, because looking back at your, the performance tracker and the mindset tracker from the arena, one was the big, it's called like emotional block, was that you felt like I am not good enough. Do you feel like that was the manifestation of it? Because I'm afraid I'm not good enough. I can't have somebody smarter than me kind of like shine that on me and make me feel that way. Was that kind of what happened there?
Yes, this is absolutely true. I always think about this, thinking about this the time before, but when you accepted fear, this is always comes to fear. You started to the next step, which we were talking about, understanding your why. And this was the key absolutely for me. If you understand one of 4 calls, maybe a 5th call, you found that my brain needs to logically fully explain why I need this. This is like, you get it. I meet a high level program like a level specialist, right? He can give me more free time, give me more free to think. He can give me more things to done and much smarter and the faster way. And when you explain to your brain like all this logic, all these things which let you grow more and faster, you can accept it, and all your things are, I'm not good enough, I will be not the smartest, the man in the room, and all this kind of stuff is just going away. This was for me the key for sure. Just explain. But the next one.
So sorry about. I just want to recap that, because I think this is a really interesting thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but what you're saying is basically that most of, let's call it, the motivation thesis about finding your why or whatever it may be, it's usually like, it's very fluffy, it's very aspirational. I want to change the world, I want to make an impact and all that. And you're saying like that stuff didn't work for you. But when you just broke it down to a very logical, like, why is this worth overcoming this discomfort, this fear? Because it'll give me on a very practical level more time, more freedom, more ability to do this. When you saw the practicality of it, you're like, okay, for that, I'm willing to overcome or step through the fear. Is that accurate?
Because now yes, absolutely. We were talking about a half year ago. Just like absolutely logical explanation to your brain why you need to do this with all the advantages you have. This is super important. But the next step, third one, I was thinking about it. This is probably more important than ever. Like first one, you define your fear. Second one is understanding your real why in a logical sense. And the third one is the cost of it. This was the most painful thing for me. Like most people don't understand the cost of their actions. Like, for sure. And this is crucial.
So what was it for you? When you're saying the cost of it, what was it for you? The cost of listening to the fear and not doing what you know you should be doing to grow?
Well, that is an example with the gunner. My cost was quite emotional. Like I don't, it wasn't about money at all. It was about, I will not do my favorite thing for a long time. Like the programmer will change me. I will do the different things. That's not right. I can continue to grow my projects and work in my code and things that I'm already doing. I just will scale this thing. This is first, and because I didn't understand this cost. Like it will be for sure hurt me in some ways, in the terms of, okay, I will do it anyway, and I will not lose anything of what I'm doing right now, because I was thinking inside my head that he will replace me at all. That's not right. And the second cost will be my ego, like what I was saying. I will have a much skilled guy in a team, which will teach me and help me to grow. This for sure. And my ego was one of the costs. And this comes to everything. Like for every task with what I have, it could be a gym for sure. Like I've never went to the gym. Now I go in this for 6 months and never skipped a workout for sure. Like because I totally understand why I need this cross this year, and I understand the price. Like the price was mostly the time. Like I spend 2 to 3 hours in my days to work out, and I'm working less. This is what's the cost. But I understand if I will work less, they will do much less. That's why I'm starting to wake up at 30 a.m. and everything starts to grow again. Like this is the cost, and you should understand this for sure. I remember you talked about this a lot, and one of the workshops of Arena is exactly about this, the cost of your action. And this is probably, I think, what most people miss when they see their fears. They want to finish some tasks or probably want to do something, but they don't understand what they should, the sacrifice about this.
Yeah, I think it's like what you're saying, the sacrifice, that's exactly it. Everyone, like when you go to any concert or any amusement park or anything you want, there's a price of admission. And when it's a very clear financial cost, we're like, okay, this makes sense. There's a price to admission. And a lot of times, if we don't accept that price or that cost to achieving something, then all of a sudden when, the bill comes or there's a little bit of friction and we're like, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe something's wrong. And it's interesting. I found that to be the more and more I work with people to be one of the biggest constraints in people achieving what they set out to achieve is that they haven't ahead of time made peace with paying that price, that cost. Because they're like, they get to this price, it's challenging. It's challenging to wake up early. It's challenging to go to the gym. It's challenging to hire the person and like maybe have a hit on your ego. All these things are challenging. And if we don't ahead of time make peace with paying that price in the heat of the moment, it could just be like, there's something wrong here. Something off. Something feels wrong. Maybe I should turn away. And if we just know, okay, I'm supposed to pay a price of admission, it relieves a lot of that pressure or confusion in real time.
Absolutely right. And I came to it like the most of the time. And you're not only thinking about fears and whys, you're mostly thinking about the price, to be honest. Like this is probably 80% of the work when you're trying to achieve something and cross against this fear which you have in your brain. This is probably the most important part, I would think.
Yeah. So, Vlad, I have a question for you, because Yeah, I remember before you came into the arena, you said you've done reading a lot about psychology and all this kind of stuff for years and years and years. What was here the thing that like made something click for you and enabled this breakthrough? Like for other people listening at home, what do you think was the thing that for you created the breakthrough? Was there something unique that like uncorked your mind, or what was like a lesson that you could
Uh,
share here moving forward?
I was thinking about this for sure, and because this half of the year was like first version of Vlad and the second version of Vlad, like 2.0, let's say this like that. Uh, uh, I loved the phrase from the Alex Hormozy, which I found this on Twitter. I don't know. That you need to learn how to lose first, and in a lot of different ways before you know how to win. This is what exactly was for me. I needed to accept that I do not want to lose anymore. I will do everything to win. And winning started to just a hobby, I would say, because it started to become much more easier than I ever thought to. Only because of you, mostly for sure, because Arena helped me to identify the hidden walls, as you say, how to cross them, and I started to uh, think about fears like not I'm afraid of this and what should I do, and this is scareful and other things. I started about thinking about this like a challenge more, you know, just like you see the fear, okay, how we can fix it and how we can grow it. And it started to work in lots of different areas, from the personal life, sport, and most importantly for me as a business for sure.
So Vlad, question for you, just going back a little bit. Is it accurate to say that the shift for you was that you stopped seeing fears just as, this big weird thing that's kind of just in the way, but just as a more analytical problem to solve and figure out? And then,
yeah,
so
because most people just totally sorry, I saw it. Most people they don't understand what the fear is about. It's not something emotional, and it's not what you're afraid of. You just don't understand how to cross it. This is the point. And when you have tools to do it exactly this way to get and achieve what you actually want, this is not becoming fear. It's become just a task. That's all. It's not the fear. It's not the requirement. It's just a task.
Dude, I think that's such a profound lesson. There's also to share with everybody that a lot of times when we feel like a bit stuck, we're not moving forward as fast as we can, whatever it may be, and we think we have this fear. It's like, why do I have it, or what's going on? And you're saying you don't have to think about it this big kind of mystical, fluffy way, but just, okay, this is an analytical problem. Where does it come from? What's going on here? Is it true? Yes. Is it not? How can we move on by that? And not also what I'm hearing from you is that you were able to suddenly detach from it and not say, I am afraid, etc., but I just have this problem that I need to solve.
Yes.
And this is that creates so much. Great. So like when did that start for you in the arena? I'm curious, like what was there a specific exercise that really hit the nail on the head for you that you're like, this is what helped for me, that maybe somebody out there listening could try that as well for themselves?
Everything what I said about, like the first one is I will repeat it again, identify this here. Like we all know what we have in mind and what's holding us back. Like just literally, most of the people understand and just it's all about in our head. You need to identify what is the most important one and which will help you go. Like as you said, you can have everything you have in the world, but the only one thing, right? And this is comes for fears and growth point as well. Like only one thing which will literally help you grow. What you were most afraid of, like you understand this is right, you need to do this, but you will never do this in this time or in your life because you're super afraid of it. This is it.
Yeah.
Just the next step is I said this is just literally logical, super logical explanation to your brain why you need this and what you have from it. Like advantages, growth, etc. Like points, real points. And this the third one is just which is most hard and most difficult just thing is to accept what the cost of it, because it's really hard. Like literally for me, even now, accept the cost of it is really hard.
Okay, so just to kind of repeat back to you. So basically, it's first off, identify what's the thing that'll make the action, that'll make the biggest impact in your life or business. Then what is your belief around it about why this could be dangerous or a bad idea? Then just challenge that. Correct? Or
yes. Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Though,
Probably correct.
but accept the
Yeah.
hard about it, accept the cost. And that's the frustrating part.
Yes, and this is for me was what arena is teaching about. Like identify your hidden wall and cross against it, right? And you give all the tools inside the arena what you need to do. But for lots of people, it's kind of one tool or maybe a few tools. But for me, it was just the simpler it gets, the better. Because just identifying things and cross it against logical ways is much easier for me than write something down, prepare all the sheets and etc.
Yeah. So question, was that in part what helped you accept the hard, that because you had a process and you could see logically that, for example, I know this will help me and this will be a big deal. I know this belief, this hidden wall, I understand now what it is. I've broken it down a little bit. It's still going to be hard, but because you had that, it's called that pre-work before that, you could just more so accept the price, the cost of the hard. Is that was
Yes.
the big thing that enabled you to cross that threshold, that you already had a bit of a good starting point?
I would say a little bit different because it was a really big part for me, and because this road it took 2 or so years, and now I understand this is what about. And to be honest, this might be sounds a bit maybe stupid or something easy, but no. For me, it was just remove all the cheap dopamine, like wake up in a consistent time, have a nice diet, have a good sport like around every day, and all this kind of stuff gives you and your brain permission to do probably whatever you want because you don't have anything to do at all except this thing. This is super important. Like I'm only working and probably not doing anything else. But when I see my life in the half of the year, I'm living more than I lived before this. Like I'm probably spending more time with my family, with my girlfriend, with my brother, and all the kind of stuff. But in the same time, I'm working like 3 times more than I ever before and achieving like lots of things. This is super powerful thing when you just have a clean diet. Again, you slept well. All these things start to get into the puzzle, into one picture, and everything started to become much easier to do. Like there is no motivation, there is no discipline, there is no everything. You just feel yourself like you need to feel. That's it.
Yeah, I think like that. I very much resonate with what you're saying. People always say time is your most valuable asset, and I think that's absolutely not true. Your energy is. And you're saying you have this, like you're actually spending more time at work, and you still have more like ability and time to spend with your family and hobbies and all that. And I think a big part of energy, what drains energy, comes from two things. One, when there's just a lack of clarity on what you should be doing and how to do it, because then your brain kind of runs all over the place. But two, when you don't have an identity that you're proud of. Because when you have an identity that you're proud of, like that's what I'm hearing from you. They're like, okay, I wake up early, I work out, I do the right things. And it's like, that's an energizing, identity to have. Like I want to charge, I want to take on life.
Yeah, and I feel great as never before. This is people asking me like I live in a small city with a really small circle of people, and people just don't understand why I'm doing this. Like how you can wake up in 4 a.m. and feel great? Why are you going to bed like when the children still awake? I'm like a kid who wake up wanna be via my laptop as fast as I can because I'm doing the things that I'm proud of.
Yeah. Well, so kind of like big last question. If you were, let's say, you're in your town, you meet somebody at a coffee shop, they're kind of telling you their story, that they were in a similar place to where you were 6 months ago, 8 months ago, where it's like they're teeter-tottering, going up, going down, kind of deflated, not sure. What would you tell them? What would be your advice to them about like how to get back on track, so to speak?
To be honest, I was thinking about this for sure as well, but people different types who do something with their life and really to accept the help. This is like 99% of people what don't do, and I stop it internally to help these people because I always try to be there. Like, why didn't do anything? There's lots of things you can do. Like, I will help you. I'm good. No, this is not working for these people. And as you said, if I see the man in my conditions like a half year ago, like with up and downs, all this kind of psychological stuff, I will for sure just say to him, this is what helped me, and we go to arena to it, and that included at all.
I appreciate that, but beyond that, like if he had no access to the arena, I'm also thinking for like a listener here, someone who wants, like, they're obviously listening in because they want to grow, they want to overcome. So what would you say to this kind of person?
If this person doesn't have the money for arena or is not prepared for this and he is really ready for my help, I just probably will do a few things for me. Just help him firstly identify what he is afraid of, why he's not growing. I have the same person in my like the people, like a guy super good in SEO, like super smart, and he's not jumping from 20K in the month for sure. And he's doing the same things over and over again and trying to get the different results, let's say. But he's afraid of growth, like literally afraid. He can't accept it. He needs to play absolutely different game, and he is afraid of it. And in most important things, he thinks it's okay for him to be in this place. Like, I'm comfort, that's okay, but in his talk, in the Telegram post, it's not like this at all. Like,
he's not really being honest with himself. Yeah, he's pretending that he's comfortable, but he actually is not.
Yeah, so being honest with yourself and identifying is super important. Like, I've never had a problem with being honest with myself, like, literally. And
that's a superpower, man. It's a rare thing. It's like, truthfully, it's like, that's something to be aware of. That's a superpower, because most people, they really struggle with it. It's not comfortable being honest with ourselves sometimes. We'd rather protect our egos than...
Yeah. You remember how we talked in arena? I always said what was in my head, like, literally, here is what it is. Like, this is not what's a problem for me, but for people, absolutely is. And the first and important step, just being honest with yourself and don't lie. Just don't lie to yourself. You feel it, like you want to grow, you're ready to grow, your skill set is much higher than you might think. But in some ways, you don't do it. Why you don't do it? Because of what? And this what is the start the key point. What are you afraid of? And if man will accept it, he'll accept that he needs help, he is ready to grow, and he is ready to jump into his head super deeply, because it's not that easy at all. It is super painful, as I remember for myself and understand. You absolutely need to prepare for this and answer yourself to a few questions. What you are really afraid of? Why I'm not growing? Why am I lying to yourself? Literally.
That's great. So I'll kind of recap it in my own words for the listeners. Tell me if you feel like it's on point. Is that the first and most crucial thing is you got to be honest with yourself.
100%. This is probably the start.
And I think it's honest with yourself, not just about, am I afraid? Am I this? And this is the big thing. Like, do you actually want to grow? Are you actually at peace? Are you actually content? Or are you just saying that because it's easier to say than, I want to grow, but I'm not succeeding with it? Which is what I think you were able to do. And like, why, you're winning because you had that truth. That's one. Then help them identify what they're actually afraid of, because the reality is that is why you're not growing. It's why you're doing the same thing over and over again, because you're afraid to jump from the mold of what you're currently doing into something else that actually would create the growth. And like to kind of like summarize it, what I wrote myself down here is, there's a quote that says, you can't begin to learn what you already know, what you already think you know. And it's basically, you can't begin to fix what you don't admit is a bit off. And if you're not ready to be honest and admit that something in my life or my results or whatever it is off and I'm not happy with it, you're not going to fix it. If you keep bullshitting yourself and saying, like, it's okay, it's fine, but it's just a way to protect your ego. It's not a way to get your results.
And to be honest, I see it all the time from my coworkers, colleagues, and just people lying to himself, in terms of just like bullshit. I'm happy, I'm okay, but you see from, like in Russia, we have a sentence, like, let's say it, you need to read across the lines. Like this is probably how this is going to sound.
Between the lines, yeah. That's
Between
the one I
lines,
see.
yeah. And this is exactly what you see in this person. Like he's lying to himself, but what he says and what he actually thinking is absolutely different ways. And you see it all the time. And when you're trying to help people in the same situation, they ego protecting, I don't know, this is probably the biggest barrier I ever seen in people. They just protecting themselves with all the ways and costs they can. They just starting to attack you over and over again. Like you can't do anything here probably until they rethink what you say and accept it. And this can be like days, weeks, even for me was for 1 month. Like words what I said, he only accepted in a few months. And I was right about this and showed him like, this is your problem. This is what you're doing. You're lying yourself. Stop doing this. You're not happy. You're lying. This is why are you drinking? Why you can't grow? But you do saying you're okay. You're not okay. Like this is it.
Yeah. Cool. So Vlad, any last thing you want to share with the listeners? Any last lessons? Any last words? Because I really appreciate you coming on and kind of sharing your success and what's growing it.
The most important thing I would say for people, just don't be afraid to accept the help. This is for sure. Don't be afraid to accept the help. Say to yourself that you're the most smartest person in the room, and like all other peoples, you need to understand how to grow. If you're stuck in like for even 6 months in one place, something is wrong with you. Something is wrong, not with your business, with you. And this is super important to understand. And you need help. And this is where, for example, Itamar or somebody else is ready for help because he is exactly with his experience knows what you should do based on your story, because this is what happened with me. I always thinking about like I know what I'm doing, and this is not this is not the truth.
Well, man, appreciate the kind words. I'll wrap it up in my own little way to kind of take what I think the wisdom that you're sharing and condense it in my own little vibe. Is that to ask yourself, if you're listening to this home, are you actually happy with your situation? And if you're not, then own that.
I'm happiest person in the world, I would say. I just happy as never before. Like,
it's great, man.
Yeah. And one of the things, sorry, I will tell you about this, is probably the important thing for people as well. Happy in today's world, like really happy is not how it is in reality. People catching the euphoria more than the happiest state. Like all this kind of blow emotions and the things. This is not a happiness. The happy is the things and feeling yourself happy is just
a deep sense of pride.
Be proud of yourself. Be proud of your work. Feeling yourself super great every day. This is what the happy is. Like, and you feel it and with all your soul, and you understand. Like, just being in a normal state of the person and grow as this person, grow as a man is much more important than every euphoria, every blow emotions that you can ever imagine, because every day you're happy.
Yeah. So put it this way, guys, like if you're not fully happy, and again, from a deep sense of pride and satisfaction with your situation, then own it. It's powerful. It's not a defeated mindset. It's just the first step. It's the exact opposite. It's an exciting first step, and it's where growth really starts. So if you take nothing else from today's podcast, just acknowledge that. Like, if you're not happy with your situation, own it. Don't try to bullshit yourself and say, nah, but it's actually okay because of this and that. Say, you know what? I don't like it. I want to change it. Let's go. It's really the first step to growth. I want to say thank you again, Vlad, for coming on. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing your story. And we'll see everyone on the next podcast.
Thanks a lot, Viktor.